Hey, welcome back to CPAC 2022 here on the grounds. We're having conservative conversations, and I'm with my friend Dr. Ben Carson. He is the founder of the American Cornerstone Institute and the Little Patriots Project. Dr. Carson, welcome.
Always good to be with you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad you've stopped by. Your speech from the stage, certainly education is important. There's a lot of things in the medical profession right now that is causing a lot of Americans angst, and I think has jeopardized the integrity of information, quite honestly, because of how people have been actors in this, big pharma, big gov.
Right. Well, we've divorced medicine from science and from scientific processes. And we're not looking at benefits versus risk. We're just putting blinders on and saying, everybody must get this vaccination. Not taking advantage of the fact that we have well-trained medical professionals and that everybody is different and that you should be working with your medical professional. And not taking into consideration the fact that we've discovered that this so-called vaccine doesn't really prevent the disease. It may moderate it, make it a little easier, but it doesn't actually prevent it. But some of the things that have been shown to be preventative, like hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, ciradivir, and now we have Paxlovid, which mitigates significantly the effect of the disease, 90% reduction in hospitalization and mortality, and yet there's no massive effort to get it out to people. And you have to wonder about all of this stuff. You
Right.
know? It's almost as if somebody wants this stuff to linger for a while.
Well, the money is in the mess, as somebody once told me. And when you think about a public-private partnership, you know, historically that was the roots of fascism. When you have government control over all major industries, including healthcare, if you've lost your health, you've lost everything, really.
It's the most important thing that you could possibly have. And, you know, we have to be cognizant of what's happening in our country. You know, COVID is not the issue. The issue is, are we still a free nation? Do we have freedom and justice for all people? Or have we started to reach a stage where the government has forgotten that it works for the people? And the people are actually supposed to be in charge, which means it doesn't make any sense for the government to be going around mandating what the people have to do.
Right, that's right. And that, by the way, is the true definition of privilege. And I'm thinking about what's happening even in education with critical race theory. Certainly you have been on the front lines, leading on this issue of education in our country. Parents have gotten more involved. But,
wonderfully.
Yes, but how are we going to tackle this problem, and are we winning on the issue of critical race theory?
Well, what happened in Virginia obviously was a great shot in the arm. It showed what happens when the people who are supposed to be in charge, by the way, actually get involved and take control. It makes a very, very big difference. And, you know, my wife and I have a book coming out in May called Created Equal: The Painful Past, Confusing Present, and Hopeful Future of Race in America. And we really look at the issue from lots of different angles. But, you know, we have a choice in this country. Do we want to build our future on our failures, or do we want to build our future on our successes? We can dredge up everything wrong that has ever happened and try to make that the central focus. Or we can help our young people to recognize that you won the lottery if you were born here. And our Little Patriots program, which is an online learning program, K through 5 right now, but it will be expanding. And it's free of charge because of very generous donors. But it tells the real story, warts and all, and helps our young people to realize that they are very fortunate to be here, and that we all have a part to play in maintaining the freedom and justice for all in our society.
Yes, absolutely. When you think about going into 2022 and even looking beyond in 2024, what do you think the key winning issues are?
Well, I think freedom. I mean, when you look at what recently happened in Ottawa, Canada, you know, we think of Canadians as very similar to ourselves, and yet I think probably to the surprise of many of them, they discovered that they don't have the same freedoms that we have. They don't have a Bill of Rights that has the kinds of freedoms that we have. That may create some issues with them later on. They may decide they want those things.
That's right. Well, and finally, I think about the Little Patriots project that you've put together. How important is it to start young, to teach the foundations?
Absolutely critical. And people have recognized that long before now. You go back to the Bible, Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he'll not depart from it. You look at Vladimir Lenin, Marxist. He said, give me your children to teach for 4 years, and the seed that I sow will never be uprooted. So they know what they're doing as they're trying to indoctrinate our kids, and we have to be just as aggressive in making sure that our children actually understand the values and principles that created a wonderful nation, our faith, liberty, community, and life. And those cornerstone principles allowed us to go from a ragtag bunch of militiamen to the pinnacle of the world. It was not a coincidence. And if we throw them away, we will deteriorate just as quickly.
Wow. Very well said. Dr. Ben Carson, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Keep up the great work.